Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Urvashi and today in this video I'm going to be talking about the zodiac sign of Aquarius as a rising or an ascendant sign. So before I begin, to all those who are watching one of my videos for the first time or to those who watched but haven't subscribed as yet, remember to subscribe and also remember to tap the bell icon. So well, coming down to the zodiac sign of Aquarius as an ascendant. So what do we mean as an ascendant or a rising sign? It is one of the most important signs in your birth chart. And it falls in the first house of your birth chart. So if you've seen your birth chart, the first house, whatever number it says from 1 to 12 or whatever zodiac is written there becomes your ascendant sign. So for the sign of Aquarius, the number is 11. This is the 11th sign in the zodiac. And how is this sign determined is at the time of your birth, wherever you're born, the time, place and date of birth. On the eastern horizon, the sign that you see rising on the eastern horizon becomes your ascendant sign. So that's how it is decided. And what is an ascendant? An ascendant is your persona. It's your personality. It's what people see you. It's what the first impression is. It's also what generally they come across as in your behavior, the way you behave, the way you interact. And a lot of situations in life are also decided by your ascendant. So coming down to the zodiac sign of Aquarius. Now what is the zodiac sign of Aquarius? If we see the natural zodiac belt, so this Aquarius sign falls in the 11th number, and in the natural zodiac it forms the 11th house. So all the things that we associate with the 11th house now come to the ascendant, to the first house. And all those things become extremely important for this native or this person. So if you're an Aquarius ascendant, all the things associated with the 11th house like ambition, long-term dreams, desires, network circles, friends, all that becomes extremely important for you. So if we also study astrology, we will realize that from the first house onwards, it's all about us. Me, my food, my family, my parents, my education, my spouse, travel, everything. Till the 10th house, we are only talking about us, our profession and things like that. But when we go to the 11th house, it's also about other people. It's about working in groups. It's about network circles. It's about what we can do for other people as well. So here, groups become very important. Social circles become very important. Socialization becomes very important. Humanity as such becomes very important. Being humane becomes very, very important. So all these qualities are very, very strongly, etched, or they are very strongly, they're a very strong part of the Aquarian personality or the Aquarian character. So let's talk about the symbols of Aquarius. So the first symbol of Aquarius is a water bearer. So it's this man and he's holding a pot of water and the water is flowing out. And in some cases we just see a pot with some water flowing out. So what we can really see is this water flowing out, but we do not see the entire contents of the pot. So that's the first thing that we have to understand about the zodiac sign of Aquarius, that this is a sign of the unexpected. This is a sign of mystery. This is a sign. These are the people that will do the most unexpected things you do not expect, things you cannot imagine. You just do not know what's up their sleeve. You just do not know what's happening in them. So all of a sudden you may be very surprised at their thoughts, at their behavior, at their paths that they decide to take, at the way they react to situations. So they can sometimes be very surprising, and they will not they will be very different from the rest. They will not follow that herd philosophy. They will not follow sheeps move in groups. So they are not like that. They will never do what everybody else is doing. They want to be different. They want to be unique. They want to follow their own thoughts. And so sometimes the Aquarius people, especially in Aquarius rising or even Aquarius moon, we'll do the moon signs later, but even they will surprise you to quite an extent. So that's the first thing we understand from the symbol. Also, the water is flowing out of the pot. So it's about giving. This zodiac is about giving. The previous zodiac that we covered, we did Capricorn. So Capricorn was ruled by Saturn and Aquarius too is ruled by Saturn. So both these zodiacs are ruled by Saturn, but they are completely, different from each other. So Capricorn was an earthy sign and earth represents materialism, materialistic things, wealth, and Capricorn people are very focused and dedicated towards their goals and towards achievement and towards hoarding and status and name and fame. Whereas Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius, is also about giving. It's about what they can do for others. But of course, you can only do something for somebody else if you've done enough for yourself. And remember, this is again the 11th sign of the zodiac, the natural 11th house. So naturally, it's the sign of gains, ambitions, desires, dreams. So these people, by doing something for themselves, they gain enough, they want to hoard enough, and then they want to freely share with others. They want to benefit everybody else from their own gains. So that is one of the basic nature, mentality, thought, personality trait that these people have. So these people are also called geniuses, either geniuses or they can be related with complete madness. I will come down to that a little later, but before I come down to that, I would like to touch the second symbol of the zodiac of Aquarius. So the second symbol are these two set of lines. They're like waves. So if you really think about this, everything in the universe is in a form of vibration. It's moving, it's vibrating. The sound that is traveling to you is in the form of wave. Light travels in the form of wave. So everything travels in waves. All knowledge, all communication, all matter, all atoms are constantly vibrating. Of course, the atoms in the air have more space. They vibrate probably faster. And the atoms in a solid, we studied all that in science, but they too are always moving, always vibrating. So similarly, there is a lot of movement, there's a lot of vibration in the zodiac of Aquarius. This is a Aries sign. We did the other two Aries signs. We did Gemini, we did Libra. So this is the final Aries sign. The difference between Aquarius and Gemini and Libra is that Gemini, being an Aries sign, the planet that ruled Gemini was Mercury, which is an earthy planet. So it had an element of earth as well. And Libra, being an Aries sign, this is ruled by Venus, which is a watery planet. But Aquarius is a Aries sign ruled by Saturn, which is also an airy planet. So the element of air is very, very, very strongly pronounced in the zodiac of Aquarius. And what is the air element represent? It represents communication, it represents thoughts, ideas, intelligence, intellect, communication. So that is also a very, very strong part of the personality of the Aquarius, of the Aquarian Ascendant. These people tend to have very strong ideas, a lot of ideas. They love to communicate their ideas. They strongly believe in their ideas, in their principle. They are very fixated where their ideas and principles are concerned. And how do we see this fixation? It's because this is a fixed sign. So the other two Aries signs, Gemini was a movable sign. It was an Aries sign but movable. So it has its ideas. It likes to communicate. Gemini likes to communicate its ideas. But it's a movable sign. So if somebody opposes them, if somebody tells them better, no, your idea is not as good, this is a better idea, they adjust. They tend to listen and they tend to adjust. Similarly, Libra is also an Aries sign. But a Libra is a movable sign. Again, Librans have their ideas, they have their thoughts, but they like to quickly accept change and move on. They see what's beneficial for them and they move on. But in the case of Aquarius, this is a lot of air, a lot of ideas, lots of thoughts, but this air has a fixed element to it. So once these people have decided on something, once they have an idea about something, they are pretty fixed with their ideas. Then there is no bending. So yes, like I was saying, sound moves in waves. Any kind of communication, light moves in waves. And the symbol for Aquarius is, these two lines that make waves. This shows there is a lot of communication, there's a lot of sharing, there are a lot of ideas that they would like to share with everybody. Another thing that we have to understand about the zodiac sign of Aquarius is that it is right opposite the zodiac sign of Leo. And so it brings in all the qualities that are not in Leo. All the qualities which are completely opposite that of Leo. So what are some of the basic qualities of Leo? Leo again is a fixed sign. So okay, let's talk about the fixed sign. Since I said Aquarius is a fixed sign, so Leo is a fixed sign, Taurus is a fixed sign, even Scorpio is a fixed sign. But what is the difference? Taurus is fixated about wealth, accumulation, comforts. Leo is fixated about image, ego, self-consciousness, their confidence, their image in society, their personality. They are very fixed about the image they want to portray. They are very conscious of their image. That is why they are extremely sensitive. You just can't hurt the ego of a Leo. And Scorpio is fixated about its feelings, the physical pleasures of life. It is very fixated once it decides on what it wants to achieve and what it really wants, be it physical pleasures, be it career, then they get fixated about that. But what is Aquarius fixated about? It's about their ideas. It's about the ideology, the principles, because this is a completely airy sign. It has a lot of ideas. It has its own thoughts. It doesn't like to follow the herd. It doesn't like to follow groups. It doesn't like to do what other people are doing. It forms its own ideology. So you really don't know what's in that pot of water that the water bearer is carrying. You really cannot imagine what's happening inside and what this person wants to share. So an Aquarian normally quietly keeps watching. He lets everybody do their thing. He will watch whatever is happening around him. But in the meanwhile, he will be forming his own principles, his own ideology, his own ideas. And especially at a point where an Aquarian is where somebody tries to suppress an Aquarian from his own ideology, where somebody tells an Aquarian that he has to follow this other ideology, he has to follow these other principles, that this is the custom, you have to do this. But the Aquarian already feels that no, this is what is right. This is what is right for humanity, for larger groups of people. Because there is this other quality about Aquarius, like I said, it's the 11th house. It's about large groups of people. It's about other people. It's about humanity. It's about being humane. So for these people, maximum happiness for the largest number of people is very important. So if they feel, no, this custom, whatever this custom is forcing down my throat, is not bringing in happiness for me and for most people around him, and he doesn't like this principle and he wants to abide by this other principle, he believes in this other principle, and if things are being forced down his throat, then this person is going to rebel. Then this Aquarius person is going to rebel. He's going to be rebellious and he is going to form a new system. You just cannot contain an Aquarius, because remember, this is a lot of air. The planet is airy, Saturn is airy, the Zodiac is airy, and it's fixed in its principles. So once it's decided on its principles, it will let you do your thing. If you're doing your thing, it's okay with it. No matter what you're doing, it's okay. Aquarians don't like forcing things down others' throat. It lets everybody have their freedom. It believes in the individuality of each and every person. The Aquarius person, it values his own individual thoughts, his own individual ideas, his own ideology, his own principles so much that he wants to give everybody, he wants everybody to have the freedom to follow their ideas, their principles. So an Aquarius would never force something down somebody's throat. And if something is being forced down the Aquarius's throat, then this person is going to get up and fight. He's going to rebel. And we see a lot of rebels as Aquarius ascendants or Aquarius risings that have changed, that have brought major changes in the world. So yes, these people are social. They are very friendly. They love to make friends. They have a lot of friends. But even in spite of having a lot of friends, there is an element of loneliness in the Aquarius. Remember, again, this sign is also ruled by Saturn. And Saturn naturally, makes a boundary. Wherever it sits, it makes a boundary. So the sign of Capricorn also had this lonely side to itself, where it did not share its inner feelings. Like I said, Capricorn is a very vulnerable sign. It's a soft sign, emotional sign from the inside, but it hides that because Saturn makes these boundaries. Similarly, for the sign of Aquarius, though it's a very different sign from the sign of Capricorn, for the sign of Aquarius too, Saturn makes these boundaries and tends to keep these people, even though they are social, they are friendly, they make a lot of friends, they have that kind of a personality, they are open, they love their freedom and they want freedom for everybody. They, no matter what you do, they will not judge you. So they have a lot of friends. But it's still, Saturn still creates a certain boundary around these people, and these people tend not to connect very intimately with anybody. These people tend to make their own boundaries. The other reason I see for this is they love their freedom so much. They love their independence, their own principles. They want to be doing exactly what they want to do, so that they contain themselves from attaching too much with anybody, because they fear that other people will put restrictions on their behavior, that society in general will put restrictions on their ideology, on their thinking, will force things down their throat. And so these people prefer to stay a little aloof. So they'll be a part of the party, they'll be a part of the group, they would be very social, and yet they would, maintain that individuality that they have inside of them. So another way I see this is, like I was just about to say, so this sign is diagonally opposite a Leo, and a Leo is all about partying, enjoyment, living in the moment, brands, showing off brands and ego and things like that, image. For an Aquarius is diagonally opposite all this. He or she would find all this very petty. Not that they don't party, they will party, but being a part of the party, they would still look at the party, they would be a part of the party, and still they would be looking at it in an objective manner. They would still be in their senses to an extent. They would still be seeing the usefulness or the uselessness of a situation. So this is basically a very intellectual sign, and they just don't do things just for the sake of showing off. They would not be very into brands and things. They don't feel the need. Of course, depending, if you have a sun placed in Leo, and if you have a very strong Leo in your zodiac, and your sign of Aquarius is afflicted, and Saturn is afflicted and not placed very strongly, then these factors would be reduced to quite an extent. But generally, an Aquarius person, he's not bothered about brands and showing off. He doesn't feel there's a need to do that. He is beyond all that. He thinks of bigger things. He thinks of the environment, and he thinks of the greenhouse effect, and he thinks about global warming, and he thinks about World War III, if and when there will be one, and he's worried and he's concerned, and he keeps up to date about everything, and he tries to make a difference by contributing his or her little bit in any and all of this. And he thinks about humanity and what he can generally do for poor people and what he can generally do for underprivileged people, if he can some way contribute to any of that. And he's not bound by what others want or others expect. So I can give you examples of celebrities, film stars, and I will give you examples from my personal life, because I've personally experienced this, crazy difference between geniuses and completely people who completely messed up their lives, and both of them are Aquarius people. So, okay, the first Aquarius that comes to mind is Amitabh Bachchan. He is a superstar in India today. And when Amitabh Bachchan came into the film industry, he was rejected. He first went to the radio, and he was rejected because of his voice. His voice was not accepted. He has this deep, husky voice, which later set the trend, but he was rejected on the radio. Then he went to TV. He went for the movies. And at that time, the Indian film industry was all about, love stories and lovey-dovey scenes and lovey-dovey actors and actresses, and I think Rajesh Khanna was a superstar at that time. And Amitabh Bachchan came in to this scenario with that angry young man kind of image and look, and those kind of movies, and suddenly he changed the trend. He did not follow the trend that was there then. He just opted for something different, and he set a trend. Then I feel this person later on, many years afterwards, when he came for the KBC program, the Kaun Banega Crorepati program. He hosted the program. Then he kept a French beard and there was a tinge of grey. He is the first Indian star who dared show grey on screen. Grey hair, grey in the beard, little bit. And he set a trend there as well. So this is the one person who defied the existing norm, the existing way that all film stars portrayed themselves, no matter what the age. If a film star was 60, we still see Jitendra and Dharmendra having completely black hair. But Amitabh Bachchan, he was the one who came with grey hair on screen, and everybody fell in love with him all over again. And today too, he's getting some of the best character roles, and he can pull off a movie all by himself. So similarly, I've seen a lot of people who break trends, who break norms, who break what social norms are presently, or who have philosophies that differ from the present, have an Aquarius Ascendant. We have Abraham Lincoln. He was an Aquarius Ascendant, and of course he was the one who initiated and slavery was removed. Then we have Karl Marx. We all know the Marxian theory, where he said that the workers will rise up and against capitalists, they will throw off capitalism, and a new system will be formed. So both these people, Karl Marx and Abraham Lincoln, in some way tried to bring about equality in society. Whether what they did was right or not, whether their philosophy, whether Karl Marx's philosophy is right or not, is not the question here. What I'm trying to say is they try to bring about a certain amount of equality in society. They try to reduce the social disparity. So there we have Aquarius rising very, very strongly pronounced in their personalities, because Aquarius is all about for higher good, for general people, for everybody, for breaking dogmas, for breaking, somebody who would fight against sati. It's again another tradition in India. It's almost finished in India, but where a female is supposed to burn herself on the death pyre of her husband, or somebody who would fight against the dowry system. That would again be an Aquarian, somebody who would stand up, be the first to voice it, somebody who would not fear breaking traditions, breaking these norms, because he does not or she does not believe in these traditions, because he or she does not believe in these norms. So that is what an Aquarius is. But I've seen Aquarius people, because they have such strong ideas and beliefs, and because they are so fixated, I have seen if they develop a wrong kind of an idea, a wrong kind of a belief, wrong for them. Even if it's good, that's great. But sometimes I've seen they are so fixated in their ideas or beliefs that they tend to spoil their own lives. So I know of two females. I have two friends who are both Aquarius Ascendants, Aquarius rising. And I believe Aquarius rising in the Indian scenario, in the Indian household, in the joint family system, would make the worst daughter-in-laws. Yeah, because what happens in an Indian family system? Everybody tries to put rules and regulations on the daughter-in-law. Everybody tries to control the daughter-in-law and with their set of rules and regulations and what to do and what not to do. And these Aquarians, because they're so fixated with their thinking, they are just not going to give in. They're going to stand up and they're going to fight. And sometimes what happens, they end up messing their own peace of mind and everybody else's peace of mind. So it's almost like, you're sitting on the branch of a tree and you're chopping off the branch. I've literally seen people do that. So either you just get off the tree and you move off. That makes more sense. But by sitting on the branch and, sawing at the branch is the worst thing that one can do. And I've literally people see cut off the branch and fall face down on the ground. So that is just to give you an example that Aquarius people can be extremely intelligent, can be extremely philosophical, can be extremely good for society, for humanity, because they have these great ideas, but they're very fixated. And Aquarius people, sometimes they have their ideas, and it's wrong. What happens sometimes in India and in our social structure is not always correct. But we have to make a lot of adjustments, all of us, or we got to move out of the system. But by sitting in the system and chopping off the branch, sometimes we kind of spoil things for ourselves. And I've seen there is another Aquarius I know, Like Karl Marx, this person too is an Aquarius rising with the Saturn in Aquarius, and this person is a politician. And I'll bring up this chart someday and I'll discuss it with you people, because it's an amazing chart, really, an amazing personality. Because being a politician, winning the state elections 4 times, this is the humblest person I've seen, a people's person. Somebody who does not go out, for power. Somebody who wins because of his good deeds, by bringing people together, by helping them, by sorting out people. So it's not a regular politician. So I don't think we have such politicians in India, where people are in power because of other people, because of what they do. It's not by corruption or filling up some senior authorities' pockets with money. So you have these people, again, a trendsetter. He broke the trends when there was a lot of defection going on, where people were leaving to join the other party which was in power. This person, stood his ground. He believed in his principles. He lost a lot in the process, but he has faith in his principles. He decided to stick to his principles. Materialistic things are not so important for Aquarius. When they have their principles, it's their ideas, it's the ideology which is most important. And then they would even, give up all materialistic comforts and gains to stick with their ideas and ideologies. That's what an Aquarius is like. So now talking about an Aquarius Ascendant. If you have Aquarius in the first house, then in the second house we have Pisces. And also Jupiter rules their 11th house. So if Jupiter is well placed in the chart, then these people are generally very lucky with finances, with money. They do well with money if Jupiter is well placed in the chart. They usually come from families which are literary, which have a good education, families which could be very spiritual. Families, I've also seen many Aquarius people have backgrounds where their families were related to the education business. So they could be selling books. They could be, the family could be running a schools. I've seen a lot of Aquarius people come from that kind of a background. Or they could be people who would be very spiritual, or highly educated, where their communication is concerned, where their action is concerned, where where they need to take an initiative about something. These people are very forceful. Then they are not, then you cannot stop them. Once they've decided, once they have an ideology, once they want to work on that ideology, then you cannot stop these people. Then they are going to go all the way. Then they are very forceful. The Aries comes in the 3rd house. They don't need any support. They can go all by themselves. They are confident. Once they are sure, then they are there. Then they are fixed about it. In their homes, they want a very comfortable home. They want all the luxuries and comforts of home. And if Venus is well placed, they are usually very lucky with their home life. They have very pleasant home lives, unless they themselves become very fixated about things and cause issues. But they generally have very comfortable and very pleasant life at home. They also have a lot of luxuries at home. They want luxuries at home and they work for that. So their first ambition is to fill their pockets, to fill their own pot, and then it is to share the pot with the rest. Where their children are concerned, where their own intelligence is concerned, then these people are, yes, they are very intelligent, they're very curious, they want to know about everything in the world, because the 5th house is a sign of Gemini, and the 5th house is also your intelligence, your knowledge. So they want to know about everything in the world. They are very, very curious about knowledge. They're the kinds who would be watching National Geographic, History Channel. They want to know everything, be it the forest, be it the space, be it spaceships, be it undersea. They would want to know about everything in the world. So they are very curious, very, very communicative with their children. About being of service, where service to others is concerned, they are very emotional. They give service to others without expecting much back. They do it out of emotion, because they are very humane. They are empathetic towards others. So they give service without really any expectations from the other side. Where their spouse is concerned, they feel their spouse is all about himself. They feel their spouse is all about image. The spouse is more image conscious. The spouse usually also comes from a very good family. They also feel the rest of the world is too much in the present, too much about showing off, too much about partying and frivolous things, and not concerned about, greater and bigger issues in life, not concerned about humanity, not concerned about doing good for others. So they feel the rest of the world is too frivolous, is too petty, and they are the ones who are always thinking about greater or bigger things in life. So even in a party, they don't feel the need to really, be a part of things. They'll keep themselves a little aloof. Where research is concerned, again, another thing, a lot of scientists have Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius risings, or they have a lot of planets in the sign of Aquarius. The sign of Aquarius is very pronounced in their horoscopes. In fact, last night before making this video, so I was thinking about which other celebrity other than Amitabh Bachchan could be an Aquarius rising? Which other celebrity is a trend setter? So the only name that came to my mind was Ranveer Singh. And I actually looked up Ranveer Singh's chart. Even though he's not an Aquarius rising, his moon is in Aquarius. So imagine, we know the kind of clothes Ranveer Singh's, he wears. He just doesn't care. He just does what he wants to. So that is Aquarius. Aquarians do what they want to. They're not concerned about what everybody else is thinking. They're not concerned about the trend. They're not concerned about what everybody else is wearing. They just do what they want to. So coming back to the 8th house, about... like I was saying, a lot of scientists have the sign of Aquarius very pronounced in their horoscopes. So a lot of scientists are, Aquarius rising. And because the 8th house is Virgo. So where the research is concerned, where investigation is concerned, they are very analytical. They are very critical. But where the in-laws are concerned, if there is an Aquarius rising and the in-laws are concerned, they will be very analytical about their in-laws, and they will be very critical. So again, the chances of gelling are very less, of gelling in such relationships where people are trying to bind them in a way are very less. Then we come down to the 9th house. So we have the sign of Libra in the 9th house. So where traditions, where religion is concerned, these people are very balanced. These people are very diplomatic. I have seen Aquarius people, if they are a Hindu, they would follow Sikh traditions as well. If they are a Sikh, they would follow Hindu traditions as well. So it's a great thing. Where tradition, where religion, where culture is concerned, they are very diplomatic, very balanced. As long as it doesn't go against the ideology, as long as it doesn't hurt them or anybody else, or it doesn't in some way bring inequality. It doesn't in some way bring inequality into society, because they are very conscious of equal rights, equality for everybody. So as long as these traditions, the culture doesn't bring inequality in some form, they are very diplomatic where religion and culture are concerned. Where their profession is concerned, the sign of Scorpio falls, they are obsessed. Once they have an aim, once they have decided on something, then they are go-getters. Then you cannot stop them. Then no matter what, then they're not concerned. So if an Aquarius has promised you something, or if an Aquarius calls you up for something, and then the next day he or she realizes, no, this will not really help me professionally, it won't take them a minute to just cut you off. Be it a relationship, be it a business venture, be it anything else. If they feel that you are not in any way useful for them, if you will not make any difference to them and benefit them in any way, they will just cut you off. And they don't really do this, they don't plan on this. It's just something that comes to them naturally. They leave behind things that are of the past, that are unimportant, because they are future oriented. They are very future looking. They are concerned about a future. They are concerned about technology. They do very well with computers, with new gadgets. They do great. Even small children would do great with gadgets. Where their social circle is concerned, where their ambition is concerned, long-term dreams, desires are concerned, they will be very lucky, because the zodiac sign of Jupiter, that is Sagittarius, falls in the 11th house. They would want very philosophical, friend circle, intelligent friend circle that is very well read. And they would gel very well with such people who are well read, who have a lot of ideas about the future, who are philosophical, who think about humanity, who think about the larger good. So there they would do very well. What is missing in the Aquarius person is the 12th house is the house of loss. The sign of Capricorn falls there. So these people are not really into physical work. Capricorn are great with physical work as well. They don't tire. But for Aquarius, they are not into physical work. They are into mental work. This is an Aries sign. It's all about thoughts, ideas, communication. Also, these people are completely against structure, rules, regulation, tradition. So the sign of Capricorn suggests rules, regulations, structures, organizations. And the sign of Aquarius, these people refuse to be a part of rules and regulation and structure because they want to make their own rules. They want to have their own ideas. So this is like one of the greatest signs I feel in the zodiac, if used well. So most of the times what happens is their ideas, their intellect is left, their talents are left unexplored. And so they are just wasted. Most Aquarius people do not realize their potentials. But if they realize their potential, if they're given the right kind of education, these guys, like, they are geniuses. They can break all old norms which are useless. They can bring about new institutions which would benefit, larger society. They could make great inventors. They could make great inventions. They are great philosophers. They could be great teachers, great astrologers, because the intellect is very sharp. So only if they could adopt some structure, some rules, because rules and regulations are also important. Not every time do we have to go against the rules. Like I said, sometimes I've seen Aquarius people sitting on the branch of a tree and sawing off that particular branch, just sawing it off. Imagine. So sometimes we have to follow certain rules. We have to see our situations. But sometimes most Aquarius people I've seen, they do not see what's good for them. Sometimes they are so hell-bent on following their ideology, their thoughts, that they end up harming themselves. So I've seen Aquarius people who've spoiled things for themselves, and then they come back for a consultation, and the first time I told them, do not do this, just stick to this. This will be good for you. But they just have to do what they feel is right, whatever their ideology is, and they want to come back for a consultation again, but then it's useless. You've already messed up things for yourself. So I've seen Aquarius do that, and I've seen Aquarius people do great things. So this is a beautiful sign. Super intelligent people, if just the intellect is used properly, if just certain rules, regulations are accepted that are necessary for us. Sometimes we have to follow certain rules. So that is all for the sign of Aquarius. I will now see you for the sign of Pisces in the next video. Bye-bye for now.